Hi, so welcome back. We are now in this lesson for Unity 3D development. We are going to develop a video game using this awesome engine, Unity 3D. So, in the previous lesson, we talked about the platform, the Unity 3D software, how to download, how to install it, so you already have it. And now we're going to explain how to use this software, how to create a game for the iPhone and for Android. Alright, so first of all, we open the program. We have a new project. We have a window Unity. Welcome to Unity. Welcome video tutorials, Unity Basics, Unity Answers, Unity Forum, Unity Asset Store. So in the last lesson we talked about it. So I think you remember that the Unity Asset Store is the place where you can purchase different assets to create your game. Right? Now let's start in the creation of a new game. The first thing to do when you have a new project, I believe, is to create the terrain where the character is going to move, where the character is going to behave in the scene. I remember in the last lesson that we download the character controller package to the project, and this package is used to create a character. Is the basic package to manipulate, let's say, to see how a main character in a 3D world can behave, because the 3D character is it will be, let's say, the hero of your game, or the main person that is going to do some actions and collide with some objects. Maybe is going to collect some items, maybe it's going to shoot, maybe it's going to jump. So it depends of how you want to create a game. So let's go to assets. Let's click on the folder assets. Let's see standard assets. Let's open this folder. Under the folder standard assets, we see character controllers. So we see here a third-person controller. When we click on this, the window will open and it will show this little guy. He is a character, and is the character that comes with the Unity 3D. It's a free character. It comes with the free packages when you download the software. All right. When we click here on the first person, you just a capsule. A capsule is also a character. It's a first person and a third person. What is the difference between the first person and third person? The difference will be the camera, how the camera view the character. In the third person, yes, you will see the character. The camera will see the character, will see the behind the back of the character. So as the character is running, you will see the camera will follow the character. And in first person shooter, the camera will be inside the capsule, so you will not be able to see the complete body of the character, but you will see only maybe the head or the arm if it's a first person shooter. So you will see only these parts, because that's why it's called first person. Is the camera is closer to the area of the scene. So let's start. First of all, I always do is to create a terrain. A terrain is the place where the character is going to run or jump or move. So let's say we're going to create a terrain. So we go here in the left side, we have a file, edit, assets, game object, component, window, help. In order to create a new terrain, we need to click on the on the game object, yes, game object menu, and go down and open to create a 3D object. It's a 3D object because the game is in 3D. We're creating a 3D game, and here we have different options. We can create a cube, we can create a sphere, capsule, cylinder. In this case, first person shooter is a cylinder, a plane, yes, a quad. The quad is also used in 2D. I will explain this later. A ragdoll. What is a ragdoll? A ragdoll is some character that is normally used when your character is shot or died. So in order to show the character in the position of a ragdoll, so it's used for that. A cloth, a terrain, a tree, or a wind zone. So in this moment, we are going to create a terrain. Hold on, it's creating. So here we go. We have the terrain. The terrain is a white terrain. We can change the color. We can add the texture of the terrain, for example. And now you can ask me, for example, how I am moving the terrain in 3D. Well, let's see how I use here the console, because you see it's these three arrows. When I click here on the left with the hand, I can move the area. I can move the area of the terrain without affecting the position of the terrain. Yes, but here if I click on the arrow, I can change the position right or left. I can also use coordinates. So for example, here I could say I want coordinate minus 40, for example, so it will move, minus 40, so it will move a little bit to the right, the x-axis. The y is 0, it means it's the ground floor is 0, but if I want the terrain to be up, for example, if I want different level terrain, let's say like to create a building with stairs, so I can put the y in the y-axis number 2, for example, so the terrain will be upper. Number 4, so the terrain will be, yes, or minus if I want under. For example, if it's a game that we are creating and the character should go under the sea or under the river, so we can create minus. So we see that the 0 axis will be place where the character goes, and then when it goes underwater, so it goes minus 5 or minus 10, and you can create then add all the texture of the water and this stuff. But now we're going to keep it in 0, and the same for the Z axis. So we have X, Y, Z because it's 3D. All right. So this is the terrain. Now let's add a texture to the terrain. It will be very nice to have a texture to the terrain. We can, for example, create a texture in 3D. For example, we can add a grass texture, floor texture, wood floor texture. We can add, for example, sand texture if we want to create a desert environment. The desert, like in a village, for example, you can create and add forest terrain. So let's do this. Terrain script on the right side. So we have here, this is to create mountains in the terrain. Here is to create down level or up levels to the mountains, to create an effect, a water effect into the terrain. And here is to paint the terrain. So it's a paint texture. We can choose different type of brushes here. We have regular brushes, we have brushes with different textures, for example, to create the idea of mountains if we want to elevate the texture, the idea of grass as well. But it's better if we add a texture, yes, so we see the effect. Well, in order to add a texture, we need to go here, terrain script, we need to go to the area where it's written textures. you see here is written no terrain textures defined. So let's click on edit textures, add texture. We need to import a texture. Yes. Now you ask me where I can find these textures. So one place to find textures is in the Unity3D asset store, or you can download them if you Google the textures. If you can download also textures for Unity. Some of them are free, some of them are copyrighted with some watermark protector symbol, but most of the textures in the for game development, most of them are free because many designers just put their textures into these websites, and sometimes you have to pay for them, sometimes you can download it for free. So now we're going to use the ones that are in the asset store for purpose of the tutorial. So add texture, yeah. Now you see this window is open. Add terrain texture. Add a terrain texture. We see here that there is no texture. The texture must be in 2D, of course, because even that the game is in 3D, the texture is in 2D, and we have to add the texture, yes, using this window. We click on select. It will open all the textures that are already in the project, right? Because here in the basic project that we create, we don't have any textures for the terrain. We need to import a texture, yes. So we are going to import a texture from the Unity Asset Store. I already have these textures, but if you want, you can import it now and use them. So I will explain you how to import from your computer, from your folder, from the internet, and from the Unity Asset Store. Alright, so let's start with importing a texture from the computer. So in order to import a texture, so now for the moment we have to close this window, add terrain texture. So we are going to import a texture from my folders, from the PC. I think if you can now, you can import from the internet and save it to your disk, and then we will import it to the software, to the project in the software. Okay, so now in order to import, we need to go to assets, yes, assets, and then import new asset, because any asset that we use has to be imported. Doesn't matter if it's a terrain asset or it's a character asset or animation or a script for the code, it has to be imported. You can import it from the asset store or from your own asset that you already downloaded from the internet. So import new asset. Now Unity is going to open a window, yeah, where you choose all the textures. So I'm going to choose from my folder. I have different textures. So let's import one of the textures from my previous game. Yeah, this is the texture, is sand 1. Alright, we can see a preview. Small icons. So yes, so you see here is a texture, yeah, that is like is imitating the sand for a desert environment, right? We can also import grass textures, wood textures, and different textures, right? So well, just to show you how to import from a computer, so you click on the texture and you click import. So the